A 2 GA amulet with dex percent. RNG is on my side so far. And a 3 GA sword with vulnerable damage. Guess I'll be playing Victimize. Welcome. Shout out to the other 9 rogues out there. I took a week off work so I could play my favorite class in the expansion. I'm just a casual gamer and a working parent who loves gaming. I only have time to play one game at a time, so when I do, I'm really into it. My family and team support me and know that I'll basically disappear for a week whenever a new season starts. I didn't play the PTR because I only game on console, so I didn't have access to it. So far, I've been really enjoying Rogue. Each tormented level makes me rethink my build and find ways to improve it. I've heard Victimize isn't as good as it was in the PTR, but that's not going to stop me from using it. I have 4 Victimize builds I want to try this season. First up is Dance of Knives, the new rogue skill. It's awesome for speed leveling and farming, which is why I hit Paragon 200 so quickly. Later on, I want to try Heartseeker, Barrage, and Twisting Blade. Today, I finally upgraded all my gear to Masterwork level 12. I didn't reset my Masterwork often because iron chunks are so scarce this season. I only reset the bad ones, like chance to apply stun. If the Masterwork is decent, I keep it. Some of the double or triple crit Masterworks on my gear were pure luck. My aspects and tempering aren't maxed yet, and I've seen people on the forums say they might be bugged. Now, I want to solo pit 75 for the first time. The mobs die pretty fast, and I'm seeing some big damage numbers, but the damage feels inconsistent. Sometimes enemies drop quickly, but other times it takes forever, especially the boss. My buddy, Spiritborn, is great at taking down bosses but struggles with mobs. So as a duo, we're actually a perfect team. I like to joke that he's my mercenary. I'm using Cowl of the Nameless mostly for trick attack. It's easy to farm from Druid or Andari, so I am sticking with it for now. I haven't had any luck getting the new Mythic Unique helmet yet. The only Mythic Unique I'm using is Tyrael's Might because the resistance penalties in Torment 4 are crazy. It's not mandatory, but with it, you don't need resistance affixes on your gear or Paragon knots. Fist of Fate is also key since Victimize needs lucky hit to proc. As for my pants and boots, there's nothing special, I'm just using what drops for me. One has lucky hit chance for stun, and the other for freeze. For my weapons and rings, I've got dexterity, max life, and vulnerable damage across the board. I haven't had the mats to reroll anything, so I'm keeping everything as is. I'm focusing on tempering vulnerable damage on all gear for Victimize. Here's something to note. You can hit a 100% chance for Dance of Knives to deal double damage with just a crossbow and one sword at Masterwork level 12. My other sword has a chance to apply poison damage, which triggers alchemical advantage, so I don't need poison imbuement. I haven't decided on the second temper for my ring yet, so I just threw cold imbuement in there as a placeholder. Luckily, reset scrolls drop like candy in Infernal Hall. For rune words, I've tried 2, Spiritborn's Vortex, which pulls all enemies toward you, and Druid's Petrify. When enemies are grouped together, Victimize explosions seem to kill them faster, maybe it's a bug. As for Petrify, since it's an ultimate skill, it doesn't work as well with my current setup. I also tried using the No Witness bow, but my max damage only hit 27%, not the full 45%. Maybe my glyphs aren't high enough, or I need specific gear. I didn't have time to fully explore it, so I switched out No Witness and the Druid rune. I'm also using Dark Shroud, which I think is every rogue's favorite. My amulet has GA Dexterity and GA Exploit, which I got from Infernal Hall. Exploit might not be the best passive, but I needed a GA amulet since legendary amulets can only masterwork to level 8. The GA Dexterity is what matters. I tried rerolling it for Weapon Mastery or Frigid Fitness, and since Frigid Fitness came up first, I'm sticking with that for now. Since my gear was originally focused on cold imbuement, I didn't want to keep switching back and forth. Plus, the damage boost from cold imbuement with the cold clip aspect is huge. I'm using combo points for longer Dance of Knives uptime, but it still breaks off sometimes. I am not a pro gamer. While leveling, I used Blade Shift for the extra resistance and movement speed. But now that those are capped, I switched to fundamental Heartseeker for the crit damage increase it gives when enemies are hit. It's great because concealment guarantees 100% crit chance for Dance of Knights. Heartseeker also has a high lucky hit chance, which helps apply crowd control. I'm still practicing my routine, but the ideal flow should be: stop spinning when the boss is almost staggered, use cold imbuement, fire Heartseeker until the boss is staggered, throw a smoke grenade, use concealment, then spin to win. With enough practice, I'll nail it eventually. For Paragon board, the main thing to focus on is which legendary nods and glyphs you want to pick. I'll show you my setup. The order doesn't matter too much because by the time you hit Paragon 200, you'll have everything you need. This build probably isn't the strongest yet, since it's only been a week and there aren't many rogue players testing things out. I've tried to avoid looking at other guides to stay uninfluenced. I usually build around the gear that drops for me rather than target farming specific pieces. After a week of playing, I stick with what works best for me. With Blizzard games, just reading patch notes isn't enough for theory crafting because there are always bugs. As a casual player, I don't know what all the bugs are, so I just equip my gear, play for a day or two, and see what works best. I hope this helps. It was my first time soloing Pit 75, so it wasn't the fastest, but I'll keep improving the build. If you have any tips, let me know how I can improve it.